Today we are looking at trappe van vergelijking. So what I love about trappe van vergelijking is the fact that it's very easy to learn. It counts at most maybe 2 marks in a test. You'll find the one at the basically like the grammar part of the paper, dull, and then you might find another question regarding trappe van vergelijking in an advert or a strokiesprent cartoon type of a thing. So I think that it's just best to prepare for them because this could be now the difference with you passing or not, or getting a distinction or not. All right, so what do we need to know? Okay, first of all, you need to know the names of the different steps. I've seen people literally ask me during invigilation which step is the one that they are asking for. So they'll see the word trap, but they won't know if it's the first, second, or third one. So this is something that you only have to learn once off so that you are always prepared in terms of which one they're going to ask. Then how to know which step to apply in a sentence. There are some clues that they give you in a sentence. If let's say they give you a sentence and they ask you to identify which trap it is, and also how to study all of them without restudying for your next test, because I truly believe that because it doesn't change. I always say this in every presentation, but that's the nice thing about Afrikaans, it doesn't change. It stays the same throughout. So the only thing you have to do is learn it properly so that you don't have to repeat your learning process. So here are the names of the different steps. So the first one, this one, is stellende trap. Okay, so you know what a stelsen is, right? So that's a basic statement. The bloed is rooi, for example. So rooi is obviously describing the blood, and it's a normal sentence. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, and then we have vergrootende trap. Vergrootende means you are now starting to compare, and that's why it's nice that it's in the middle because you're comparing between this side and this side. So it's not just red, and it's also not the reddest. I don't know if reddest is a word, but this is where we are in the stage. And then the last one, oortreffende trap, basically means the most intense it can be. Okay, so find a way to remember it. I mean, you can use SVO, or you can just find a way to remember it so that you can just make sure that you don't get this wrong, basically. All right, so here are the clues if they give this to you in a sentence. So here, like I said, when you have a usual or normal sentence, stelsen, there's usually nothing out of the ordinary with the sentence. Die bloed is rooi, there's nothing wrong there. So rooi in this case would be your stellende trap. Then when you get the word as, my doen is langer as my sissie se doen. So that as in there tells you that it's supposed to be langer. So what they'll do is that they'll give you the word lang, and then it will be your responsibility to make sure that you answer langer, because that's actually what they are asking you. My bloed is rooier as jou bloed. Die boom is hoër as die bure se boom. Do you understand? So each time you hear the word as in a sentence and they're asking you specifically about trappe van vergelijking, it basically means vergrootende trap. Then the last one, oortreffende trap, they'll usually put the word die in there. My bloed is die rooiste bloed. Okay, so then they want you, like they'll give you rooi as a clue, and then because you saw the word die, you know that you're supposed to say ster at the end. And that's why your Afrikaans teacher always says die langste, or die kortste, or die swaarste. They want you to keep remembering that every time you hear the word die, it's the oortreffende trap. Okay, now here's an example so that we can just see how it looks like in a sentence. Die bloem is mooi. Nothing out of the ordinary, which means that we know that this is a stelsen, therefore stellende trap. So next one, hierdie blom is mooier as daardie een. So they would have given you mooi here in brackets and say, they'll ask you, apply the correct degree of comparison or something like that. So it will be your job to say mooier, and then that is die mooiste bloem in die tuin. So they would have given you mooi again here. It would have been your job to say die mooiste. Okay, now this is what I mean. This is the clue that you would have had to ensure that you are in the right step of op die regte trap. Okay, so use the clues that they are giving you Trust me, none of these people that are setting up these tests want to make this even harder for you than what it already may feel like. But you also have to bring, like, you have to put a little bit of effort in, and this is as far as it can go regarding them asking this to you in a sentence. Okay, now let's get into the rules. Here's the part that nobody wants to study, yet if you do this one time, you will never, ever, ever study this thing ever again. Especially if you're doing like in grade 8 or grade 6 or even grade 10 level, you are saving yourself hours in grade 11 and grade 12 for studying this. Trust me, there are bigger things to study. Okay, so the basic rule, so this rule applies to most adjectives because type of vergelijking is applicable to adjectives, the word that describes the noun, all right, that do not fall under specific exceptions. All right, so we've already done this one, mooi, mooier, die mooiste. So I didn't add die here, but I expect you to know that. Okay, groot, any word that has a double sound, whether it's double A, double E, double O, W, in the vergrootende trap, you will always lose the one sound, okay? But not in the oortreffende trap, so only here. Now, if you're asking why did mooi not lose one of its letters, it's because the OOI, that's one sound. Okay, it has to stick together at all times for it to work or to function, I guess. Whereas this one, it's double A, double E, double O, W. That's all that it applies to. So it doesn't apply to diphthonga. All right. Next one, klein, kleiner, die kleinste. Vinnig, vinniger, vinnigste. Slim, slimmer. Here's another thing you need to learn is that if a word has a short vowel, the last letter will double, and then only after that you add your ER. So this works the same as verkleining as well as meervoud. Okay, lang, another exception. Lang, here it becomes langer and there langste. So it only keeps its K here. And I think it's mostly words that have NK. So just see if there's another one that applies to that rule. Sterk, sterker, die sterkste. So these ones basically get ER here and STE here. All right, now adjectives that end on an R. Let's see. So I feel like this one's like case by case basis, but let's just see how far we get. So ver meaning far, verder. So they get DER in vergrootende trap and then get STE in oortreffende trap. Okay, now this, like these are in their own row. You'll see with the ones with the double A's that it doesn't apply to them, only to the ones that are in this category. Okay, so dier, because it ends on an R, it has to take on this exception. That's why this side, this one ended on a T, not an R, and you'll see with other examples that we're going to be doing. Okay, so dier keeps its original form, then you add DER, dierder, dierste. This one is in a league of its own because technically you're looking at it as if it ends with an R, even though it ends on an S. But honestly, I would put this one on my separate list of exceptions. Actually, that's what I'll do next time. So just ignore it. But skaars becomes skaarser and then skaarste. And then swaar is swaarder and swaarste. Bitter, bitterder, bitterste. Next, adjectives ending on G. Now, there are also multiple exceptions here. So, sag becomes sagter, and then sagste. Super exception. I'm actually going to remove this one as well. Then laag falls away with the 1A, and then it becomes laar, and then in the oortreffende trap it goes back to its original position, laagste. Droog becomes droer, and then droogste. Unfortunately, you have to learn these things. And then vroeg becomes vroeger, and then vroegste, and then hoog is the same kind of structure as droer, hoer and hoogste. Trust me, if you go and study this, like just take it seriously and study it, you'll see that they ask these things all the time. I know they love to ask hoog. They love to ask droog as well. So just study it. Next, if the adjective has a short vowel, I mean, we've already done a few of these things, Um, and then you double the last letter and add ER, and then you don't double it on the oortreffende trap. Okay, so din is dinner, two ends, dinster. Feit, feiter, feitster. Nat, natter, natster, even though that sounds wrong. Stijf, so if it ends on an F, you're going to add a W. This is throughout, even for verkleining or meervoud plural, it's still, this one still applies. Jonk goes with the exception of lank. In the vergrootende trap, you add G, and then oortreffende trap is jongste. It stays with the G. In the oortreffende trap is G. So yes, remember lang, langer, langster. So those two go together. Then fris, frisser, frister. So here, also might like check out the double S here, because the one S comes from the original word and the other S comes from STE. So if you have a long vowel or a double vowel, then you are going to let the one sound go and add ER. If it ends on an F, you're going to add a W, okay? And there are other ones that also get a W, but I think it's neat. Neat is the only one you need to know about. All right, let's take a look. So breed, broad, is breer, breedste. Niet, niever, it's like never. So it's like niet and never. Both of those in vergrootende trap are never. Okay, nietste, doof, doever, doofste, quart, quarter with a T. And then this side it gets back the D. And then soet, soeter, soetste, skoon, skooner, die skoonste. Okay, so you can see that it lost the one O here, but then it gained it back at the end. All right, if the adjective ends on a D or a T, this letter often falls away and basically comes back in the oortreffende trap. And then this side, the last one will fall away and you add ER. Koud, kouer, koudste. Breed, breer, we just did that one, breedste. Oud, ouer, oudste. They love this one. All right, then you have your irregulars. They love to ask these ones as well, especially the first and the second one and the third one. Yes. Okay. So goed, beter, beste, baie, meer, meeste, min, minder, minste. Then we have lief, liever, liefste. Oud, we just did. Graag, liever, die liefste is one that I'm not familiar with, even when spoken. And then veel, meer, meeste. So these ones, you have to learn them one by one. Again, learn only the ones that your school provides to you, which means that if you see some new ones here that you don't know, I think it will be best to sit down with the ones that you have, and because now you would have known, like, okay, this is why this one is like this, because it ends on a D or a T, or this one is like this because it ends on an R and R gets the ER, and why not the rest? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the best thing to do is to basically go back to the work that your teacher gave you and practice those ones. But if it makes you feel better to put them in categories, do so, because the person who's testing you is your teacher, so they won't ask something that they didn't give to you anyway. But I hope this helps, makes it easy, because one thing that you should just know is that there is no way that you should be losing marks because of this. That's just one thing you need to realize, because some people think that it's too much to memorize. It doesn't need to be. You just need to memorize a handful of them. So if I were you, I would make sure that if I'm in grade, let's say 7 to 9, that I know at least 30 trappe van vergelijking off by heart. And at least 10 of them, or maybe 5 to 7 of them, are here from irregular adjectives. Okay. If I'm in grade 10 to 12, I'll make sure that I know at least double that. So I'll make sure I know 60 of them off by heart that no one can argue with me about. You can choose which 60 those are. I think that's manageable. You can actually do that in an hour, and that will be part of your core memory for the rest of that phase. But don't waste time thinking that it's not important to actually sit down and cram it or memorize it, because it will keep coming up over and over. Imagine it's coming up in March, it's coming up in June, it's coming up in September, it's coming up in December, and you keep getting the same thing wrong. I mean, that's That's crazy. All right. So I hope you guys understand that, and I think we are done. All right. If that was helpful, let me know in the comments and share it to someone that you think it might help. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.